Hi, my name is Senator Val Stevens from the state of Washington. I'm very concerned about what our federal government is doing in the name of security, using TSA as a tool to do it. In particular, it is very concerning to me that we have laws here in the state of Washington that do not allow, and in fact forbid, folks from fondling children, let alone adults. But it's the children's issue that really concerns me. I can't imagine what it must be like for a parent to have to hold their child while somebody is touching them in places that no other person would be allowed to do. In fact, I'm very concerned that it could be that because the parent is aiding and abetting in a situation where they don't really have to fly and there is no real danger or security concern regarding children, I'm very concerned that the parent themselves might be charged with not protecting their children. We have laws in this state that say that failure to protect constitutes your having your children removed under certain circumstances. And I just can't imagine what it must be like for a parent to have to sit there or stand there and hold their child that is screaming while some stranger is touching them, looking in their diaper, and doing the things that TSA does in the name of security. Excuse me, this is unacceptable. We're going after it, and here in the state of Washington, we already have laws that we are proceeding with whether or not TSA is allowed to do what they do under the state of Washington's laws.
You know, in Alaska, in the legislature, we were so concerned about this that virtually every single member of the State House and the State Senate signed a joint letter urging that the Senate committee hold a hearing in Alaska so that the U.S. senators could learn firsthand how Americans feel about the invasion of their privacy. They should not have to go through this. Nobody should have their privacy invaded, because these kinds of searches are unnecessary, overbroad, and a violation of our rights. But this really is a question of federal law and federal regulations, and that's why it's so important that we change federal law so that people's rights across the country are protected. They need to make some changes. They need to respect people's privacy. And they need to make certain that the federal government understands that we're the government of the people, and we're not at the mercy of some nameless people in a bureaucracy. We need to change the policy.
Hi, I'm Representative Chris Tuck, serving South Central Anchorage. I've had a heartburn with TSA since they came up with their new procedures October 28, 2010. Alaska is very explicit with our sexual contact definition. It's anyone that touches through clothing, buttocks, genitals, or female breasts. And that's a routine procedure now that we have to follow to be able to get through the security line. And Alaskans should not have to give up their dignity to be able to travel. I think that we need to have our airport police watching the TSA agents, making sure they're not continually violating Alaskans' rights. They are a security agency. They are not law enforcement. Instead of having a patch, they now have a metal badge and they call each other officers. But I just want to make it very clear that they are not officers. They are not law enforcement. They cannot detain you. They have to call airport police if they want to detain you. So being that they're security guards, one of the things I want to do is pass another law in the state of Alaska making it to where sexual offenders are not allowed to be security guards, and that includes any federal security guards as well. And I truly believe in that quote that Benjamin Franklin has, those who are willing to give up liberties for a small sense of security deserve neither. I fear that that's what's happening with us here in the United States. We're giving up way too many freedoms to be able to freely travel.
I'm State Senator Michael Doherty from the state of New Jersey, and I'm very pleased to join colleagues from around the country in opposing the new TSA security procedures. I think that the Constitution has to be protected, and clearly what's going on in airports throughout the United States is violating Fourth Amendment rights. It's violating the privacy rights that we have as citizens. Here in New Jersey, we've introduced a number of bills in response to the new TSA security procedures. We've introduced legislation to outlaw the X-ray body scanners, to remove immunity from the TSA agents that actually perform these searches that violate privacy. And we think it's important to put a stake in the ground to let our fellow citizens know that here in New Jersey we're going to stand up and protect their constitutional rights. We think there's less invasive procedures that the federal government can use and still provide security for American citizens. And I look forward to continue to work with my colleagues from around the country to get more legislators to sign on to this important effort.
Hello, this is State Representative Will Tolman from the state of Pennsylvania. And prior to my taking this position, I used to do an awful lot of traveling for business, and have experienced TSA from the start, from 9/11, 2001 until the present. And I did not feel TSA was effective then, and I feel it is even less effective now. But at this point in time, we've entered a new ball game. We now are having our constitutional rights of the citizens violated by a out-of-control federal agency. And unreasonable searches are happening right now as we are speaking. And the Pennsylvania House, we have entered two bills. One is to ask our federal delegation in Washington, D.C. to show proper oversight over TSA, and the other is going to make it a sexual assault. In Pennsylvania, we're going to classify it as a misdemeanor 3 for a TSA agent to view the genitals or breasts of a person. So that's what we're doing here in Pennsylvania. We had a hearing on this bill. Our state government committee had a hearing on this bill, and I believe one or both of those bills are going to be moved out of state committee to the floor for final consideration.
Aloha, I'm State Senator Sam Sloan, State Minority Leader in the state of Hawaii, and I'm a member of the United States Travel Freedom Caucus. And the reason is privacy, number one. We had our citizens who gave us a lot of horror stories, just like many of you in other states, about the problems that they've had with the TSA. But we've also had two other incidents here in Honolulu that are worthy of note. One of them was a woman TSA officer who just recently was convicted of stealing money from Japanese tourists, taking the cash from the wallets and purses. Another incident involved 24 TSA employees at the Honolulu International Airport who were found not to have been screening bags at all. They're currently under federal investigation. So you've got privacy, the really outrageous groping and all of the physical abuses that have taken place. You've got a situation of security in terms of financial security, and you've got the overall cost and what the benefits are. We have the full body scanners. We had our first unit in the island of Kauai last year. We now have 3 units at Honolulu International Airport out of 7, and people continue to report of the abuses that take place. I introduced legislation during this 2011 state legislative session. It wasn't even heard. Hopefully we're getting a lot of people right now that want to make changes. I'm very willing and happy to work with other legislators in other states, and we will have travel freedom for all residents of the 50 states. Aloha.